Absolutely unreal. This rig is the absolute tits, fair play to it. The absolute tits. Targeting your carp down the margins is one of the best places to catch them, but I'm going to show you a little line today that's probably caught more carp all over the country than any other. Let me show you exactly where it is. Like I said, this line this year has probably caught more carp than any other line, and that is what they call on your toenails. This year I've been all over the country fishing qualifiers, festivals, from Tunnelbarn Farm to Larford Lakes and everything in between, and this line has probably won more matches and caught tens of thousands of pounds of carp, and that is right here. Literally in the margins, half a top kit. You'll be amazed, you think they're never going to come that close. Even with the keep nets in, I think it makes it even better. So let me show you how we fish it and how we feed it and when to target this amazing line. Just recently I fished a match at Larford Lakes. It was a golden reel qualifier and I ended up on the match lake. And two of the biggest weights in the match, two big 200-pound weights, were caught on this line, literally fishing a top kit or half a top kit right next to the nets. And places like Larford, Western Pools, Tunnelbarn, all those kinds of venues, this is such an effective way of catching them, and it can get you from literally nowhere to winning the match in less than an hour. Where exactly are we going to fish? We are going to fish literally on half a top kit. Today we're just going to fish down to our left hand side. That's just where it plumps up a little bit nicer, but you would be fishing literally just past your net, just over the top of the rim of your net, just the other side. For some reason those big carp feel super confident coming in there. They feel safe. There's a little bit of cover from the keep nets, and it's also a place that gets all the bait thrown in after the match, so they're used to coming in front of these pegs to feed. So let's quickly look at the kit we're going to use. Like I said, we're only going to be fishing half a top kit, so I've got a pair of power kits here, both got purple hydro in them. What I don't want is to fish a light elastic and them tear off into the lake and you've got to put joints on. I want to sort of hook them and hold them, because you might only get 50 minutes on this line. You want to make the most of it and get them in as quick as you can, so the gear matches up to that. So we've got a purple hydro. Now there's two different rigs for this line. I'll just show you the sort of more traditional one, if you like, first, and then I'll show you the other one I've been using, and it's been super, super efficient, especially if you're fishing with maggots. So the first rig, purple hydro, 0.22 end gauge on that one, and what I've got a lovely little 0.3 bagger on there. I've gone away from the super heavy floats. I don't really like that direct line straight down. I know you are going to have a direct line on this, but it's just a little bit less weight, a little bit of a smaller, lighter bulk. I just think it's a little bit nicer. So 0.22 main line, and then what I've just got my little block of shot just above a 5-inch hook length. I don't mind laying a little bit of line on the bottom, so I'd rather have a longer hook length with a bulk up a little bit higher. So that's the first rig. That's just sort of your like traditional margin rig, bulk on top of your loop to loop. I think a lot of people tend to fish like that. But a rig I've been using more and more, and it's been really effective, is almost like a roach rig but scaled up. So same line, 0.22, but on this, just got a little 0.2 bobby, 2 number 9 back shots, and then I've just got 4 number 10 strung out then. You see them? Getting further, almost like the reverse taper rig. And then I've got a 5-inch hook length again, but what you'll notice with this one is where I've plumbed them up, you'll be able to see on here now. Oh, they decided to just start cutting the grass behind me. See the difference where I've plumbed them up? So this lighter one is going to be fishing probably 3.5 inches over depth. So I'll lay it out to the side, drag it in, and you'll have that arc, what Jamie Hughes has fished that for years, that kind of arc. And then I'll have my last bit of the hook length just lying along the bottom. So when they approach from out in the lake, there's no direct line straight down to your hook bait. The line is out the way, and then they could just swim along, not touch any line, see a hook bait, suck it in, float wallops under, clonk, and we're away. So they're the two rigs, really nice strong gear, power kits, strong elastic, strong line. The hooks on both of them are 14 Kaizens to 0.19 end gauge. For fishing maggots, I never fish anything apart from a Kaizen. I think they're amazing hooks. So that's the hardware. Let's check out the bait. Let's feed some bait and get some carp swirling this edge. So when it comes to bait, just real simple again. I've got a couple of pints there of dead reds. They're left from the weekend. I find dead maggots are amazing on this line. And then just to get the fish in your peg, I've got some nice ground bait. That is just Method Mix, some Green Supreme. Literally all the quarter bags I had left. It's perfect for just tumping in the edge. You don't have to worry about your mix too much. And then what I've just got a little empty bowl, so I can just mix some like 4 parts ground bait, 1 part maggots, or however I want to do it through the session. And then I've got the good old trusty for the hook. Got some dendrobinas there, medium-sized ones, a nice change bait. So it could be 2 worms, bunch of maggots, whatever. So the bait is really, really simple. Let's put the initial feed in now and see if we can get a few fish in this edge. As soon as they start clouding up, I reckon we'll be able to catch a few. Right, so it's initial feed time. And what I'm going to do, I've got my little bowl. I'm going to just start because I want to get some attraction, so I want to give them some ground bait to start. I'm going to put 3 handfuls of ground bait in my bowl and then just go 1 good dollop of maggot in with it. Give it a good old stir up. And then I'm going to probably feed like 2 of these to start. There she is. So let's give them 2. Just the same as you would feeding anywhere else. Like, accuracy is super important. So what I'm going to do, like a good bit out from the bank, I'm going to feed him out there to start. Just let that come out like that. And then give him another one. So we're on 2 of them. Literally half a top kit, like you can see there. Where's that back behind me? I'll just leave that to one side. So that's the initial feed. What I'll do, I'll sit here now for a little bit, wait till I see him sort of clouding the edge up. And then when those clouds start coming up, we'll drop in. We'll start on our like traditional sort of edge rig, but then we'll move to that strung out one and hopefully you'll be able to see the difference of how good that other rig really is. So let's sit on our hands for a little bit and I'll catch up with you when the edge is solid. Right, so I have just seen 1 swirl up in this edge here. It's only just about 2 foot deep, so they'll give themselves away when they're there. There's another sort of tail part in there now. Just touching on when to go on this line, normally it's a last hour kind of a line. Last knock-ins, you can just drop in here and catch a pile. I wouldn't necessarily be fishing down here. See that swirl there? I wouldn't be fishing down here like mid-match. You know, it's a last knock-ins job. These fish are thinking you're going to be tumping all your bait in the edge at the end, and that's why they're coming in late on. You know, you've got a few anglers park up and sort of tip their bait in and stuff, and that's why these fish are coming really close into the edge and close to your nets. So now that we've just seen that one, let's drop in there. What I'm not going to do now straight away, I'm not going to feed them. So I have got an XL paste pot on there. God, I can see a tail there now. So let's flick this camera to record. Make sure she's all sound. There we go. Right, so got my little 0.3 bagger plumbed up as we normally do, just to sort of a little bit further down the bottom of the body. Look at him swirling there. I'm just going to start on a bunch of reds just because that's what we've given him. So we'll see what happens with this. If we can't get one on the hook, we can always put 2 nice big bits of worm on. So there's a nice bunch of reds there. I've got my little bit of tape marked up, so there you are. I'm just sort of halfway down my number 3. And they are in here with a vengeance now, so let's drop in. And this is what it was like at Laugh at the weekend. So I'm just going to lower this rig straight in. I've got my couple of back shots on. I'm going to pull my float close into the bank, pull my pole tip over that sort of grass, and I'm just holding on to my couple of back shot now. And there's a bite straight away. There we go. And this, honestly, like this line will go like this sometimes. Where we fish reddill a lot, it's not uncommon to catch a 100-pound here in the last hour when those big units turn up on you. And you'll find they're bigger close in, and one thing they definitely are, it's easier to catch. You don't foul hook as many when you catch them here, just because you sort of know what you're striking at. The bites are so clean, they just wallop under. You're not sort of thinking, is that a bite should I strike, like what you do further down the bank, because you're on top of them. Everything's super clean. And they're a little bit easier to catch. So what I'm going to have to watch here now is I don't pull out of any, because we've got some trees just above us here. So that's a magnificent start. And you'll be amazed, you'll be playing them like this, like almost over the top of where you're fishing. You think, oh, this can't be no good, this will spook the others. But they're still swirling you. They don't mind it at all, for whatever reason. There's a huge carp right next to my rig then. There's some absolute beasts coming in this edge here. Now a fish has just moved that rig out of position, so what I'll do, I'll just lift it out. Put it back in nice and straight. And then there we go, just pin it in place, and that's a good fish. And these are the kinds of ones you catch when you get them right close to you. They always seem to be that little bit bigger. And this is not just a method for like bargain venues. Even the harder venues, I fished a match on Docklow a couple of weeks ago. And we were second in the match of £65, and I caught half my fish on this line, just throwing casters in there. So even if it's hard, they'll still come in. Just because they're not used to getting caught there. So that's a nice fish there, look. Oh yeah, it's a lovely fish. There was a couple of absolute juggernauts coming in there then. And this is where, like, I want that nice strong elastic. You know, I don't want to be adding sections. Ooh, yeah. You know, it's about being efficient now. Like, if you were in a match, you'd have like 45 minutes left now. You want to get this one in, sort of £8, and then, you know, that's the kind of stamp you're going to be catching, so. Everyone you hook, make sure, you know, don't pull his head off, make sure you get it in, but at the same time, don't be chasing it all around the lake, because time will get away from you if you're not careful. Oh, look at him, look, absolute toad of a carp, that is. I'm just looking down the edge on, there's still an odd one in there swirling, so even with them, you know, you're playing them on top of each other, don't seem to, like, bother them too much, they just stay in there. So what I will probably do after this fish is just pop that paste pot back on. If you can get them on that, it's a bit more efficient than big potting, having, you know, too much bait in there and having too many fish come in. Oh, he's a lunatic of a carp. There he is. There you go. Nice fish. And these are what we're after to start on. £7 or £8. Oh yeah, he was never coming off. Those Kaisers are so good. Right in the corner of the mouth there. Hooked absolutely perfectly. Oh yeah, that's at least £7 that fish. So that is, you know, kind of what we're after. Yes. That was as clean as they come, that. It's taken a little bit of time to catch that one, actually. There's been some, you know, there's carp in my peg, and I feel as if I should have caught him quicker. So I think what I'm going to do next feed, I'm going to go less ground bait, more reds. I'll go back in with a bunch of reds, and if that isn't as quick, I'll try 2 worms just to see if I can pick them out a little bit quicker. Because there was a lot of carp in my peg for a little bit then, and I took a while to catch one. But it was a nice clean bite when I got it. So let's just try potting in mainly deads. This is what I done at Laugh at the weekend, was like mainly deads with just a blob of that stodgy mix on the top. It's a slightly smaller one, that one. Look at this thing going. There we go. It's carp, £3 or so. Drop him back. So this next feed, I feel like I'm going to big pot it. I want to give him a little bit more than that XL paste pot. So what it's going to be now is just a good dollop, sort of 100 ml of maggots, and then just a little nugget of that stuff on top. I want to get them eating maggots that I can, something I can put on the hook. So in with them. Let's go back in with a bunch, and if this don't work, we'll give them a double worm. Just like always, the same as any kind of fishing, just trying to work out the most efficient way of catching them. It doesn't really matter so much if you're like pleasure fishing, but if you're in match situations, you're always thinking about how can I do it a little bit better. So let's get that rig in position before one turns up, because it isn't taking long after a feed for them to come into the peg. There we go. So I was on just like the mainly maggots are. Didn't feel as many fish come in that time, but when one did come in, he was catchable. But I think you can see, like from the bites and stuff, how clean everything is when you catch them there, and how quick you can sort of rattle away together. If you catch one there with an hour to go and there's an odd one coming in, you're sort of rubbing your hands together thinking, be on for a serious weight, like. Especially when you go to like Larford or the Glebe, all them kind of venues where the average fish is those big old units, sort of 6 to 8 pounders and bigger. That's a nice fish again. There we go. It's a nice looking fish. Clean as a whistle, that one. Oh, it's a huge tail there. Do you know what it feels like now already? I don't think they like... Oh, that's a massive fish there. I don't know if you can just see his tail. It's like they don't want to come right into that rig with that line going straight down like that. So it might be worth just picking that other rig up now. It's got a little bit more line laid on the bottom, because it doesn't plumb up amazing in this edge here. It's not, it's not a billiard table. There's a few rocks and lumps and bumps down there. See, there he is there, look, just a big old unit. Come on, boys. Come on. Right, that's enough of that. Time for rig change. Right, let's try this rig that has been catching me a lot of fish lately. Because it just feels like the ones I can see are like further out into the lake. So what I'm going to do, just to get one, you've stopped swirling a minute there, so I'm going to give him a blob of maggots again. And another little nug. Just feed that out into the lake there. And then lay my rig in, if you can see that, just lay it out into where the feed is, and then just let it I'll just pull it in closer to the bank, let it swing in. There we go. Oh, now that is why that rig is so good. And that's one of those big units. And I've got no more sections behind me, so I'm going to have to hold on to him. Like the rig was sort of sitting just off an angle like that, and then you just pulled the elastic out before I managed to strike. And like that first drop on that rig, and we've been fishing for a little bit on that other rig. Yes, we've caught an odd one, but it feels like that fish has come in and I've caught him. And And that's where having a couple of different rigs on your side tray is the difference. See, look, that's a nice fish there. I'm sure that's the fish I seen. It was definitely a common I seen in there. But what happened there is that hook bit's just lying along the bottom. No direct line. He's got no reason to spook off of it. And then he just pulled the elastic out. He just hooked himself. Look at that. Absolutely hooked perfectly. Now we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to big pot that again. Bit more ground bait. I feel like they like that ground bait, so let's keep giving them some ground bait. And then a super stodgy blob of our mix. Where are we? But there. Again, just lay it out into the lake and then just pull it all back in again. And with this rig, if you feel like it's sort of gone out of position, you can just lay it back in again. There we are. That little rig is just an absolute game changer in this edge now. I feel like every time one comes in there, I feel like I'm just going to catch it. It started raining now, some shape. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to throw a blob of maggots in there whilst I'm playing this fish. There we go. There's a couple of absolute brutes in there, but they ain't easy to catch. Another nice one. But I just can't believe like how good this rig is. So almost like completely against the grain of margin fishing, you know, big floats, trying to keep it still. Every time I'm like not in the water, I'm always just keeping an eye, see what's happening in the peg. Oh, look at that thing there, we've got to catch that. Let's lay that in. Let's see if we can catch him. That's an absolute treat of a carp. There's some in here well over £20. I think £25 is the lake record. We got him. We got him, bye. We've got him. That is that fish. The problem is I've got no sections behind me now. So because that peg is all kicked up, going mental, I'm not going to throw anything yet, throw any maggots, because all the water movement will just be going everywhere. So I'll just let that calm down. Oh no. This is really where you should, you know, you don't want to be shipping on, but you should always have just an odd section behind you. It was, because it's calmed down now. Oh no. You might not see this fish. Because that is an absolute tank. You've probably seen it on the close-up. So I'll just keep throwing those maggots in. Oh, he's come back. I'm just waiting for him to charge off. Now I am. But we have got decent gear on, so we might just get a chance. Where's he going now? Oh no. That's an absolute tank. Come on. Come on. Oh. Stop now. No. No. That's it, he's going. Oh, I've done this. Oh. Oh my God, that was an absolute beast. Broke us. Can you believe it? Oh, mam fach. I can't believe that. Oh well, that's the way the cookie crumble. That's why you should have a few sections behind you at all times. That fish was £20, I reckon. That was an absolute tank of a carp, that one. Oh, right, let's start again. Right, so we're back in action. Re-rigged up. Well, new hook link on. God, that was an absolute tank, that. You know, if I was a match, you'd have your pole set up behind you. And you know, to be honest, if it's broken you, the hook ain't ever going to pull out. So we would have got that. That was, I reckon, I was getting on for £20, that fish. It was an absolute Trojan of a fish. But never mind, that's, you know, not, you know, we're only sort of pleasure fishing. I'm not too worried about losing it. But what's more important to me is the strike rate on this rig. Because there was a couple in there then, and I caught it. Well, I hooked it. But on the other rig, when I had a couple in there, it's like they wouldn't come close to my, you know, close to the hook bait. But this seems to be sorting them out at the minute. There's one there again. It's a big fish on this peg. Like the ones that are coming in are big. There we go. Absolutely unreal. This rig is the absolute tits, fair play to it. The absolute tits. And I think you can see now with the size of them. And it's like how, you know, you hardly foul hook any. The bites are clean. Just why this is such a good line. Ooh. So again, I'm just keeping an eye on down that side, like there's nothing coming in there now. I have been throwing dollops of dead maggots in there, which seems to have like got me a couple of bites, but I might have to just sneak a bit of ground bait in there again just to get some more fish to come in. There he is. Here we go. Nice fish again. I'm not going to try and hold them up because they're a little bit lively in here. I've just replumbed this rig up just before I put that new hook length on, and we're a full float over depth, almost like what you do when you fish with skimmers on like a, you know, like a slow moving canal. I think, let's just keep an eye there just a second. No, I'm going to give him some ground bait. Let's give him some ground bait, get him in there. And what seems to be good at the minute is get ground bait to get them in, and then when they're in there, just throw in those dollops of maggots in. So, there we go. Feed that. I need to clean this pot out because it's full of stodge. I am absolutely over the moon with this rig. Just got 4 number 10s there, just strung out down. Amazing. It makes you think back like how many times you've had loads of fish in your peg on that other rig and you cannot get a bite, and they're just spooking off the bulk. And we've put this on now. We've had, you know, we've literally like seen 4 fish in the edge and hooked every one of them. So I'm just going to wait till one comes in, and then just lay the rig back in again. Like I said, at Larford the other day, I caught a couple, like as I've laid it in, it hasn't even got to the bottom, the elastic's ripped out. There we go. So just lay it out into the lake, look. They definitely like don't want to come close to the bank. They're out, that's where they are, they're just out there. But I'd rather that than them trying to get back in behind my rig all the time. I'd rather them be out a little bit. Oh, boys, don't. This is just a joke. Oh, where's this going now? Absolutely amazing rig. Squeaker this time. And this is like a good thing to do, come out, little spot of pleasure fishing, just to get your confidence up and using something different. I think a lot of people, you know, you wouldn't want to sort of just turn up to a match and do this. I think you'd want to build your confidence up like what we're doing now. And then you know when you go to your next match or your next session, you're on it straight away. You're not thinking, is this right or not? But I think you can see from this video just how good this rig is. I'll just keep an eye. Is there another one there? I'll just give him a dollop again of maggots. It almost feels like now every time I can see one in there, I'm going to catch it. Oh yeah, there he is. Big old common there then. Come on, he's on us. You got him. You got one. That's one of those big ones, I think. I seen him coming in there then, just mooching in. Real like fast jab on the float. Oh, we've hooked another one of them big ones. A couple more dollops. Nice way of catching this, like potting some ground bait to get him in there. And when you've got him in there then, just throw in maggots in until they stop coming in. And then you can give him a dollop again. Oh yeah, nice fish. Real good looking carp. I almost feel like a short kit would be better. Oh yeah, that's one of them big ones. That's the one I seen, I'm sure it is. Yeah, that's a nice fish that is, look. So I think that is an absolute perfect fish to end the session on. Oh, come on, Mike. I hope that's given you a little bit of food for thought when it comes to your margin fishing. I hope this line has sort of inspired you now. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful fish. When you're next out, either when you're out on your match or a pleasure session, don't neglect this little top kit line, because this year it's probably won more matches than any other line. It's caught some massive fish, massive bags of fish. Let's try and hold this up. I don't know if we'll be able to, because they are a bit lively in here. There you are. Absolute brute down the edge. Drop him back. Go on, off you go, bite. I'm sure that's that fish we've been seeing in there. So don't forget to have those 2 rigs set up. Have your like bulk on one rig, you know your standard sort of rig, But don't forget, well, I think you've just seen the proof of the pudding. That light rig, strung out, a float length over depth, that has just been absolutely mustard. It's nice strong gear, strong hook, strong line, thick elastics. Give them some bait, get them in there. And, well, I don't know if I need to say much more. I think you've seen the proof of how good that line can be. And don't think it's just because we're pleasure fishing it's that good. It's as good, if not better, in matches. So that's another tutorial done and dusted, a little bit of a shorter one. I just wanted to show you that because it's been so good on so many matches lately. I thought, strike while the iron's hot, show you it now so you can get out, put it into your own fishing. Hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, like, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it growing a little bit more here. And I'll catch up with you on another video very soon.